I got the question that everybody actually wants to know.
Uh-oh.
As the person who has moderated the forums in Bigger Pockets longer than anyone else, how in the hell do you exist there and not have all your crap deleted?
Oh, that's very easy. You follow my rules. My site, my rules. Okay,
I'm just laughing
so
because
I have like 2,500 posts on Bigger Pockets, and almost none have ever gotten yanked. And they even asked me to. I'm a moderator on the board still, actually.
Yeah,
So you're just a soliciting
stuff pulled.
sleazy snake, David. That's the problem. Just follow the rules. They're not that hard.
Oh, is this a personal question? Are you using a podcast episode to get answers to your personal questions? Okay, David. So here
I know
are the
what happened
rules.
with me. I'm just laughing because I see you in there all the time yanking stuff.
We consider looking for or offering products, properties, services, education, books, yada, 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 to be advertising. The forums do not exist for Alexander the Great to go out and find deals and find partners and do all of this stuff. The forums exist to share information. So if Alex wants to know the answer to a question, he should ask the question. And if David has the answer, he should share the answer without adding, oh, and by the way, I can help you because I'm an agent and I have a referral system across the nation and I can get you an agent anywhere you need. Just email me at david@davidpere.com or whatever your email address is. There's ways to answer questions and there's ways to be sleazy promotional. And if you've ever been on a forum that isn't moderated, you know instantly and you leave because it's ads and spam and garbage. And it can feel like we are being very heavy-handed, and we are. But the reason that we're being heavy-handed is because we want the ads and spam out and the real estate information and education to continue to flow. And when Alex comes in and says, hey, I have a really great answer to your question, here's a link to my blog. Even if his blog isn't selling anything, it's still self-promotion to his blog. So we'll pull that or we'll edit it out. Just share the information. There are a lot of people that are read-only members. They make an account and they never post ever, but they're in the forums and they're reading all the time and they're gathering information. So when you share information without being promotional, then people start to realize that Alexander the Great is somebody who has a lot of real estate information, and maybe they will check out his profile. Now, in your profile, you should absolutely be promoting the heck out of yourself. Give me your email address, your phone number, what you do, what you're looking for, how I can help you and how you can help me. Because if I'm going through the forums and I keep seeing Alex commenting over and over again with great information, I click on his post and he happens to be in whatever Carolina he lives in, and he's an agent. Oh my goodness. I need an agent in that Carolina. I never remember which Carolina he lives in. I'm sorry. Can we stop naming states the same? Anyway.
The problem that people seem to have with the Bigger Pockets forums is they want to use it as a marketing tool and they can't. And so then they're like, how do you use this? How do I use this thing properly? And I'm like, you don't use it as a marketing tool. You use it. It's a really good system. It's kind of like a relationship. Like the idea is if you're trying to get something out of your relationship and you start with this idea of reciprocity, it's going to go badly. Instead, you invest selflessly into it and then you sort of let the universe work itself out. And if you do a good job of being selfless, then the universe will work itself out in your favor. And so if you go in there and you're like, how do I skirt the rules to be promotional without seeming promotional? And I see people do it all the time and they like try to like do generic posts that don't really break the rules, but I can tell they're trying to do it as a marketing tool. And so sometimes they do that, but they don't really get engagement because
everybody else can see right through it too.
Yeah. And it doesn't really generate organic conversation. So the Bigger Pockets forums are extremely easy to use and interact with if you approach them the way that like as a community, which is what it's been great at. My favorite 90-something% of my real life friends are from Bigger Pockets, and that forum, I love that forum. But I don't use it as a marketing tool, so I have zero problems.
Yeah,
David? Yeah, I love it. I always Oh yeah, I've got over 1,000 something posts on there too. The only things I think that I ever really got slapped on the wrist for, ironically, it was always Mindy too. Was I would constantly, or not constantly, but I would say things like I'd answer the whole question and be like, hey, if you got other questions, feel free to shoot me a message, and they'd be like, boop, or I'd answer all the questions and then I'd throw my phone number and be like, if you need anything, whatever. And it was never like intended that way, but it would be like flagged, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yes. See, even if you're my friend, I will still slap you down on this site because it is my site and my rules. And I am not here to make friends. I am here to keep the real estate information and education flowing. And if you need specific military advice, you can go to the Military Millionaire Group and they will give you specific military advice. However, I want to go back to the very top of that. And Alex said this: give without any expectation of return. Because when you're selling something, people can feel like you're selling something. Do you like to be sold to? I don't like to be sold to. Remember the whole car salesman and the smarmy guy that's like, sell, 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 always be selling. People don't like that person because they don't feel genuine. Now, I first reached out to Alex Felice because he gave real advice. It wasn't necessarily what the person posting wanted to hear, but it was absolutely what they needed to hear.
That's basically my entire existence.
Yes. But like, I don't need anybody to sugarcoat, oh, I've got this tenant and they're not paying rent. Oh, I'm totally sure they're going to pay next month. That's not helpful. What I need to hear, what I don't want to hear, but what I need to hear is that you need to give them a pay or quit notice, and then you need to follow the what's it called? Eviction
Your lease
process in your state. And that's what you need to hear. And hey, it'll all work out in the end is not going to do you any good. So I saw Alex in his pink shirt picture.
I wasn't even wearing pink yet. That was like
You were.
You know what's so funny?
No, you had a dress shirt. You had a pink striped dress shirt on. I remember it. That's why I reached out. Well, and you gave good advice. But I was like, hey, Alex, you give great advice. We should connect. You can have friends and colleagues on Bigger Pockets. And we just started talking and he was giving really great advice. And now we're best friends. But because he was giving without expectation of return.
Of his life.
Probably was the best day of his life. And then I got connected with David Perret through FinCon. Did you introduce me to David Perret? I met you at the Orlando FinCon.
I met David at FinCon too, actually. I think
I met all of you at that same FinCon.
Bro, was that 18?
That was.
In Orlando.
So Mindy, I introduced myself to you I introduced myself to you twice. The first time was the starting ceremony for FinCon, and you had at least one or multiple of what you're drinking right now. And I don't know that you remember me introducing myself to you. So then I introduced myself to you again, I believe with Doug. So Doug Nordman and Brandon were like the only two people I knew, and they had told me to go to FinCon. So I showed up there and Doug was the only person there that I knew. And then, yeah.
I remember taking a picture of you, or taking a picture with Scott Trench and you. Oh, thank you. Where is that? That looks like Fig. Yeah, that looks familiar. I didn't know you could share a screen here. I'm going to have to figure out how to use this system.
The button that says share on the bottom.
Oh, look at that.
She was just figuring out how to learn Skype. She was just getting the hang of Skype, and then they went and changed everything on her.
Then we went to Zoom. Now we do it in Riverside. But yeah, you came up and introduced yourself to me and Scott, and we all had beards, and we took pictures for Brandon because he had a beard. My beard doesn't grow in very well.
That's right, because I had just recorded my first and still only on the main show as a newbie investor. And so I had bought this pack of like fake beards. And when I realized Brandon wasn't going to be there, I was like, well, I'm just going to take pictures with the beard and tell him what he's missing. And then I saw you and Scott and was like, this is super weird, but we're going to take this photo. I still have that photo somewhere.
I have that photo
all three
too.
Of us wearing fake Brandon beards that we sent him. all about being memorable. It works. It's weird as all get out, but it works because all my memories from that FinCon are like, well, my main memory from that FinCon is Alex and I hanging out at the real estate meetup by the pool and getting told we couldn't hang out there anymore because we brought our own beer. And then we went to this Mexican restaurant. We were drinking Coronas. And then Alex, Scott, and I sit in the back of the award ceremony thing, chugging Coronas in the back seats of the pews, like just not paying any attention.
I always bring beer to the Plutus Awards.
Yeah, we were slinging all the beer. The hotel told us to get rid of it and leave, and we took it into the Plutus Awards and just passing beers around, like whatever.
David loves that story. Mindy, at the start of the interview, we had said something about you had said networking. Let's talk about networking. And I swear, like, I'm trying to think about how to do a piece of content on this, but